Hey everyone, this is DWS Darius and welcome to another day in the fish room. So last week I showed you guys I unboxed some new fish from Live Aquaria. I also got a few more fish and that's pretty much been a focus of the week. I've been checking out these new fish and watching them adapt to their new homes. So today we're just going to go around and take a look at the new fish and how they're doing. Okay everyone, so the first stop is going to be down here in this 20-gallon aquarium. So I showed you guys this tank 2 weeks ago and it housed my male betta along with my baby rocket gar. The rocket gar is no longer in this aquarium and that's because of these little fish down here. So the rocket gar is a fish that is just very picky when it comes to feeding. So I went and bought me some tiny little endlers to serve as food. However, when the endlers came, they just looked so awesome I just couldn't feed them all to the hugelligar. Now when I added them to the tank, the hugelligar was still in here, so you know he grabbed like 5 of them and killed them and ate them. But I still have like 20. I ordered 24. The sender was nice enough to give me about 30. So I still have a decent amount. You can see I have males harassing females, so I'm pretty sure soon I'm going to have even more when they start breeding. But yeah, these fish look so awesome. I just couldn't use them all as food, so now they're going to be in this tank. And I'm going to have me a little colony of endlers. So we're going to see where this takes off from here. I'm loving their activity and I'm loving the color of the males. And if you take a look right there, there's an example of one of my newborn babies. So pretty soon they will have a stronghold in this aquarium and I expect their numbers to just increase a lot more. Also with this order, the sender gave me some duckweed. Maybe it wasn't intentional. He only gave me like a little clump of it and now it's starting to spread very quickly. And I kind of like it. From above, I love the way the roots look. It's mixed with some other plants, but the roots of the duckweed looks pretty awesome. I love the fast growth of it. I know a lot of people say that duckweed can be very hard to get rid of when you're tired of it, but so far I'm loving it. And there were also a few ramhorn snails with the order, so eventually I already have hundreds of, maybe thousands of Malaysian trumpet snails, and pretty soon hopefully I can have some some ramhorn snails, and then I can start selling them, so that'll be pretty cool. And also I have some of these Marimo moss balls. I bought these separately. I intended to do an aquascape with them, but the thing is, look how small they are. I ordered them and didn't really pay too much attention to the size because it was buy 2 get like 7 free, and of course they're extremely tiny, and when you compare it to the size of my finger, not really much I could do with them. So for now they're in this tank, and that's a look at what I got in this aquarium. So now some of you may be wondering what happened to the rocket gar. Out of all my aquariums, I felt that this one was the best to keep him in. If I kept him in this tank, he definitely would have probably went for some of my smaller fish. If I kept him in my grow-out tank, some of those fish probably would have went for him. So this ended up being the best tank for him to live in. And so far, it is pretty well for him. I think the thing that he loves most about it is the fact that with this black background, he really camouflages pretty well because he has that little black line going across the center of his body. So really, it does great when it comes to camouflage for this fish. And also, of course, there's a lot more space in the 75-gallon compared to that little 20-gallon. Now, you do see that I still don't have a hood, and I definitely got to get one maybe today. I'm going to go and get me a glass canopy. But yeah, he's living in this aquarium. He's doing awesome. He's eating freeze-dried bloodworms now, even krill. I definitely think I'm going to be able to get him on pellets. Just as soon as he's big enough to swallow it, I'm going to toss it in, and the way he just responds, because as soon as I throw a piece of krill in it, he goes after it. So I'm pretty sure that when he gets a decent size, if I put a pellet in there, he will go after it. I'm trying to look at him from above because from below you really can't see anything except the glare and the reflection of the camera. But he spends his time in that back portion of the tank, and you know, camouflage makes it so that you can barely see him. The only problem for him in this tank is the competition. He's living with some rainbow fish, and when it comes to eating, rainbow fish are just some very fast and competitive eaters. Even sometimes when he has food in his mouth, the rainbows will go after the food in his mouth. So it's definitely a challenge for him. But other than that, I'm pretty sure he loves the space and he loves the environment because it's just very easy to blend in and just to stay in the shadows. Living in the same aquarium is a fish that I unboxed last week, and it is my Whiptail Catfish. Now, let me know if you can notice them right away. I love this fish because of how good this fish camouflages, and along with that, this fish is very confident in his camouflage, so it makes it so that he doesn't have to hide. So here we are, and he's right here. You can focus in. He's right there in the center. You can see him, and I just love him. He looks extremely cool, and he's always visible. Once again, I think these fish are just highly confident in their camouflage so that they don't have to go hiding as most other catfish, and just very cool to see. On top of that, let me show you something else. So one of the things I love about these catfish is that, look at that, he's allowing me to pet him. So I think part of that is because he pretends to be a stick, and in the wild, if a predator comes by and touches him, they'll pretty much think that he's not alive, he's just a twig or something, and they're going to leave him alone. So you can see that's pretty awesome to see how this fish is just so comfortable and really so confident in his camouflage. So I really originally bought this fish to clean up algae, but this definitely is not a big time algae eater. He has a suction mouth, but that's really meant for just eating uneaten foods and stuff like that. But the algae in this tank is going away, surprisingly. I'm not sure if it's because the plants are now starting to compete with it, or if my clown pleco somewhere in here is just finally starting to eat algae. I had this clown pleco for like a year, and he just wasn't eating any algae. He only wanted fish food. Maybe now he is starting to eat the algae. But yeah, that's a look at the beautiful and strange Whiptail Catfish. Eventually, I do hope to add more to this aquarium. Okay everyone, directly beneath that planet tank we have this 29-gallon Hillstream aquarium, and last week you saw me unbox some Longfellow leopard danio for this tank. Now before I get into them, I want to give you guys a quick look at my neon blue goby who's plowing on algae. When this fish isn't aggressive, he's very enjoyable. But yeah, today I want to give you guys a look at these Longfellow leopard danio. Now the thing I hate most about these fish is that when it comes to filming them, it's almost impossible because these fish are just so active and it's just hard to get any close-ups. But other than that, I'm really enjoying them in this aquarium. The reason why I bought them was just to bring more activity to the middle to upper level of the tank. My white cloud minnows, they did a good job, but you know, ever since their school numbers have been decreasing because they were jumping out, they really weren't as active. Also, I think that they were very intimidated by this goldfish, which won't stop growing. I'm trying to keep him in this tank until the temperature outside warms up, but he just won't stop growing. So I think I might be forced to put him outside sooner than I wanted to, just to bring more comfort to these other fish because they're a little intimidated by him. Of course they're going to be intimidated because of his huge size. I think he probably ate my scarlet dario. I have 4 of those in this tank and I don't see them anymore. And the only thing I can think of is that this guy ate them. But yeah, the leopard danio definitely bring a lot more comfort to the tank for my white cloud minnows. Altogether there are about 12 small fish. So you know, just that's more appropriate for shoaling together. It definitely helps them to ignore this goldfish. And just overall, the danio are serving their purpose, bringing a lot more activity to the tank, and just looking awesome. Okay everyone, the next fish I want to show you guys is living inside this 125-gallon aquarium. So the other day a friend of mine was at Petco. He called me and told me that they had a Jack Dempsey that was full size and they only wanted $10. So you know me, I didn't think twice. I just said get it for me and I'll pay you when you get here. He brought the fish to me. It looked extremely beautiful. But you know, whenever there's a fish for a low price that looks good, there got to be a catch. And the catch is that this fish is extremely aggressive. So he's only been in the tank for a couple of days now, maybe about 3 days so far. So he still doesn't come out openly, and probably because that buttercove fry is just pretty annoying as a tank mate. So that's part of the reason why he doesn't come out. But you can see his face in there, and he's definitely a very aggressive fish. You can see he's moving. He might come out for me, or maybe not. But yeah, originally he was in this tank with the buttercove fry tilapia cichlid. Under this rock is my female red devil. And before, my Salvini cichlid used to live inside here. Immediately when he went into the tank about maybe the next day, the Salvini was in his corner half dead because they fought. So now the Salvini is in a different tank recovering because he was nearly killed but it's Jack Dempsey. You can see his mouth in there. So far, yeah, definitely a very aggressive fish. So if you ever see a cichlid for sale for a very low price, you got to consider whether or not there's a reason, because a lot of times it's because that fish may be very nasty. So he's in his tank, he looks good, but hopefully I can work on that personality. I won't be able to show you guys much because I myself don't really get to see him unless the tank lights are off. But yeah, that's another new fish to this fish room. Next we have in my 40-gallon reef aquarium, you can see right there the beautiful Coral Beauty Dwarf Angelfish. Definitely very beautiful. He's still a little bit shy, so I can't get too close to the glass, but I'm loving the colors on this fish. And you look at that, he's right center screen. When I first bought him, he was very shy, and he definitely would not be out this much, but you know, he's been eating the food that I offer, and I think he likes it, so that's the reason why he's out and looking for food with all the other fish. But I love the colors on this fish, a nice mix of purple, blue, and orange, and the yellow on the fins, so definitely a very beautiful fish. These fish, when it comes to dwarf angels, people are a little cautious because they do sometimes tend to nip on corals, but I kept one of these angelfish before, and I had no problems with it, so hopefully the same thing happens with this guy. And really the problems are limited when you give him enough food, so that's definitely what I plan on doing. But yeah, definitely a beautiful addition to this aquarium, and eventually as he becomes a little bit more comfortable, I will give you guys some better close-ups of this beautiful fish. Okay everyone, and the last updates are going to be in this 55-gallon grow out aquarium. Now these are probably updates that most people wanted to see. So first, center screen, you didn't see me unbox this fish, but this is another Peacock Bass. So right here is bought as Cichlid Accelerus. Hopefully it is the real deal. If he gets older, he will have a nice yellow to goldish coloration, and I think he's going to fit in pretty well with my two Peacock Bass that I already have. You can see he has a bloated stomach. This guy is very stubborn when it comes to eating, so I fed him fish heads. He can't fit a whole fish in his mouth, so I cut the fish into pieces, and he likes the head, I guess because the eyes and stuff like that. But yeah, in his stomach right now is 2 fish heads, and let me see, if I stick my finger in the tank, look at that, he's stuffed. You can see his stomach, he's stuffed. He probably can't even fit anymore in his stomach, and he's already coming for more. So definitely trying to get big, and when he outgrows this tank, when he's at the point of being able to eat his tank mates, I'm going to take him up there and then eventually into the 210, and then eventually I want to make me an aquarium this summer, but you know, we'll take it one step at a time. Okay everyone, the next fish I want to show you guys is very beautiful, center screened African leaf fish, also known as the African Gourami. Definitely a very beautiful fish. I love his pattern. So far this fish is very picky when it comes to eating. He only wants bloodworms, whether freezing or froze dried. That's all he accepts, and you know that will have an effect on his growth rate. So because of that, I may have to move him to one of my planted tanks so that he doesn't become food for some of his tank mates, namely that Oscar back there. But definitely I love the color of this fish. I love how he interacts with all the other fish in the aquarium. He's never hiding, always begging for food, and just no doubt a very beautiful fish. Okay everyone, and the last fish I want to show you guys that's new, and probably the one that most people wanted to see, is the Oscar cichlid. So right now he's not in the scene, but to call this fish, all I have to do is stick my finger in the top of the tank and shake around. I don't know if I introduced these other fish. These right here are Congo tetras. They're very cool, very bold fish. They're known as predator fish, and they definitely are some predator tetras. They like to eat the pieces of the fish that I toss into the tank, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, shake my finger in this tank long enough, and eventually this Oscar will come, because he's definitely one greedy fish. So no doubt this fish is going to grow, and he's going to grow very fast. You can see his stomach is bloated. That's because I just fed him some krill. So I think the Oscar, when they're this young, this is probably one of the most critical stages of their life, and it's very important what you feed them because it affects the way they look and just their overall health as adults. When they're this young, they're willing to eat anything. This guy goes after literally anything I stick into the aquarium. That's a good thing because you don't have to worry about picky eating like some of these other fish, but it's also very bad because they're going to eat regardless of how it affects them. They're going to eat regardless of how full they are. and, you know, that can affect them later on in life when it comes to just different diseases, color and stuff like that. So, you know, it's very important when it comes to your Oscar and his juvenile life and his juvenile diet. But yeah, I'm feeding this guy krill because the krill he's hiding behind the rock right now, but I feed him krill because the krill can help with his color, bring in more reds and just a brighter and more vibrant color. Also, I feed Hikari standard pellets just to get a nice diet. I don't want to overstuff them. These fish grow fast naturally, so no need to just stuff them and power feed them because they're naturally just fast growing fish. Same thing with the peacock bass. Even though he looks stuffed, that's all he's going to eat for the day. So you definitely don't want to overstock these fish, or overstuff these fish rather. But yeah, the Oscar is definitely a very beautiful fish. He's very competitive when it comes to eating. Right now I just fed him like 20 minutes ago, so he's not as aggressive as he usually is when it's time to eat. I have my finger in the tank, so that's why he's coming out. But normally when it's time to eat, he fights everybody else out the area so that he could be the first one to get the food. But yeah, your typical Oscar, very social, very bold, and very awesome to watch. He's definitely going to grow very fast and going to be an awesome fish. Okay everyone, so that's pretty much how I spent my week, just checking on these new fish. I even have more fish coming. You know, I have a crazy infestation of Malaysian trumpet snails in that tank, so I went and bought me some yo-yo loaches. So those are going to be here maybe today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. But yeah, that's been a look at what I've been doing throughout the week, a day in the life. As always, let me know what you think. Once again, thank everybody for the support. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.